The shock that I saw on the faces of the surgeons that I didn't pick when I was interviewing as they looked at my x-rays was so intriguing to me, because they both said the same thing. How is it possible you've survived this many years bone on bone? Like, how can you live in that kind of pain? And I went, what pain?
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another inspired conversation. We're bringing two friends of the Inspire channel back so they can help us navigate these crazy and very stressful times a little better. Please welcome with me Miss Patty Greer and Mr. Chris Burris from C60 Evo. Welcome back, my friends.
Hello, John. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. It's good to see you both. Miss Patty, you're shining bright, looking beautiful.
Thank you. I am kind of shining because I opened the curtain and I've got my Evo face serum, and it is kind of a glowy thing, but it's nice because it doesn't feel greasy. And yeah, but I'm definitely got the glow going without even my glasses. I want to say that I am somebody that actually watches your shows, like everybody else that's watching right now. And I feel like today was really inspiring because it's really bringing everybody into the present moment more than ever before, and saying each of us has to take responsibility for ourselves. And you kept listing the important things that we have to do every day: intelligent food, water, healthy, 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 good sleep. And I kept holding my breath going, and and I kept waiting for you to drop it, and C60 Evo, because I know you do it every day, and so does your wife.
Every morning, every morning.
So I finally started breathing because I had to come on the air, and I had like 4 or 5 minutes left of your show, but I wanted to hear the punchline, and I went, no, I probably got to get ready to get on the air. But I don't watch a lot of shows anymore, and I so resonate with yours because you deliver with such heart. And I think that right now, people can handle the news as long as it's delivered with love. And you are a master. So thank
Thank you.
thank you for doing that. And so I did just finish the sentence that I really agreed with: everybody taking self responsibility so that we can get to the other side of this fifth dimensional secret war that half of our neighbors don't even know is going on, but we do. And we can just stay kind. And I know that I've got my head so tightly balanced on my neck now, because no matter what people say, I'm actually not reacting. I'm responding consciously. And I know it's the Evo because I was never this nice before. Thanks, Chris and Robert, for making the good stuff, because dang, I am so nice now. I mean, I used to be Patty Postal, Patty Possible Postal. Just kidding. But this stuff, it's like I can take anything and keep on ticking.
Making people nicer one customer at a time.
Well, Miss Patty, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And right back at you. Like I said today on the show, and I keep saying it, and people will gonna get sick of it, but I think it's a time where we all have to live our purpose, why we came here, and to do that. And you two are such a beautiful example. Chris, every time I talk to you, it's like this guy is doing exactly what he was put here to do, and that's how he is helping and supporting people. So I'm so grateful for that. We are living through very uncertain times, and no matter where you stand, it doesn't really matter where you stand politically. It's uncertain for everybody. The sense of normalcy is gone, and people are inevitably looking to improve their lives or support themselves through this time. And I think one of the things is we're all recovering from something, some more than others, some more physically, others are recovering from stress. And so to me, the ESS60 is just, it's just a no-brainer in the morning that I take it. It supports my entire system, and I can just feel there's short-term recovery and long-term recovery. How does it protect people, or how does it help people through this recovery from the stress states we're all in, Chris?
Yeah, I think when you're right, and it is confusing and topsy-turvy. Like, you wake up and glance at the news, like, you don't even have to like be watching the news, all of it. You just glance at it and you're like, okay, this is going to be another day. This is going to be another stressful, interesting day. We'll call it interesting. And when you think about the impact that it has on your system, right? And some of the impact that I think is really important, and maybe you even haven't thought about this yet, is our impact on our sleep, right? If you're sitting in bed and you're ruminating about like this and that and what's going on, and I wasn't expecting that, and what does that mean, and we're all screwed, whatever whatever it may be, that's keeping you up. And there's a thing that I call the horrible emotional sleep nightmare, right? And this just toilet flush of, as you don't get enough sleep, you wake up the next day and you're actually not able. I actually did a PR tour with a good friend of mine in the middle of the pandemic to try and provide some guidance on managing emotions and on getting better sleep, right? And this horrible emotional sleep spiral is, you wake up and you haven't had as much sleep as you normally have. And what people often don't realize is you're able to manage your emotions less well when you don't have sleep. And we've probably had this experience,
Without a doubt.
right?
Without a doubt.
And we're not like a cell phone, right? A cell phone has like two bar systems. One of them is like how much battery is left, and the other one is like how much signal you have. We don't have that bar signal, or system to say, hey, you're not going to be really good at handling your emotions today, so you should probably just be aware of that and get some rest, or take it easy, or stay out of stressful
Don't make
situations.
life-changing decisions.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, there is the warning on medications, right? If you happen to be coming off a surgery or something and strong medications, there's just nothing like that for sleep. And then you can go through that day and you're hyper reactive to people. And then you go to sleep that night, and maybe it's not the news, it's like how you interacted with people, or how they quote unquote wronged you because you couldn't handle the emotions. And then again, you're not getting as much sleep because you're ruminating, and this just spiral is horrible. Our most consistent testimonial is that people take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, which would help you handle your emotions, and then better sleep that night. And we all know that sleep is good. And I think we often do a disservice to sleep, because we know that sleep is good for our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Like, we know that. But we also are like, I absolutely must have my sleep unless I've got something else to do. And that's that disservice. It's not just that people report better sleep, it's also that people report, even when they don't get as much sleep, they feel significantly more rested. And I'll share this. My business coach, he says that for 50 years, he needed to use an alarm clock in order to wake up. Now, when he's taking the C60 Evo formula, he wakes up before the alarm clock. And this is a business coach, so he's out late dinners, having wine, schmoozing. And so those nights that he's not getting as much sleep, he still is waking up before the alarm clock. He's still sharp and ready to tackle the day. And so I think that's one of the biggest and most important things about supporting the recovery from what news throws into your face every day.
Chris, can you refresh our memory as to why that is? Why is it with ESS60 that happens? Because I feel the effect. Unless I feel something or feel the effect, I wouldn't take it every day, but I do. Our dogs do. And Miss Patty, you were right. We ran out of the dog C60. So, but our dogs love the avocado version, or even the olive oil just as much. Like I just tried it, and they love it just as much. But what is it exactly that helps this recovery process that you're talking about, Chris?
Yeah, we'll quickly kind of go over what is the ESS60 molecule, right? So I'm holding a model of a molecule, and if you're listening, just imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. You have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. The molecule was discovered in 1985 here in Houston. That's where our lab is based. That's where I am right now. And the three scientists who discovered it went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1996. they actually thought that the molecule, because some of the shapes on the shapes on the exterior of this soccer ball cage, again, we call it ESS60, because of some of the shapes on the exterior of the ESS60 are reminiscent of benzene. Benzene is known to be toxic. It's known to be a carcinogen when it's on its own. Also very ubiquitous in society. We have plastics and medicines, and detergents are often based on the benzene ring. So in that context, it's safe. But when it's on its own, it's dangerous. For the reason that that shape is on the exterior of the cage, they thought the molecule might be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case, it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So that's the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history. And that's why, really we're talking about the molecule. So I'm going to try and keep this short because I've got kind of long examples of how to describe this. But basically, we know from peer-reviewed published research that this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria, right? The powerhouse of every cell. Every cell in our body has between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria. Except for blood cells, they have none, and nerve cells and brain cells, they have 2 million mitochondria, right? So really impactful there. We know that the molecule gets into those mitochondria, and we know that it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So what we believe is one of the negative byproducts of mitochondria, which is a power source, is reactive oxygen species. When those reactive oxygen species are left free to do damage, the ESS60 molecule actually holds on to them and prevents them from doing damage until your body can manage those reactive oxygen species. And if you're making the powerhouse of every cell in your body, again, 2 million in each nerve cell, if you're making those less damaging, right, then you're going to see systemic improvements from head to toe.
Absolutely, which basically what you're saying, if I translate this correctly, is it's literally a protection shield. It's literally a protection shield. It's like, so we have our protection in place, and then, we're also recovering with that because of that protection, which the beautiful thing is the short-term effects, they start kicking in pretty quick, but then the long-term effects I feel like are even more impressive. At least the longer I've been taking it, the more I'm just observing that. Now, Miss Patty, you're someone who has navigated a lot of waters that needed protection and that needed recovery. Yeah. And as you say, you're someone who's paying really close attention to what's happening in the world. How are you navigating these times? How are things going for you, and how's the recovery going after the miraculous hip story that you've been through?
I'm celebrating replacing 2 hips this year, and I'm 4 months after my second hip surgery. They were only 9 weeks apart because the first one was like, how could it be this easy? But the shock that I saw on the faces of the surgeons that I didn't pick when I was interviewing as they looked at my x-rays was so intriguing to me, because they both said the same thing. How is it possible you've survived this many years bone on bone? Like, how can you live in that kind of pain? And I went, what pain? Until
Oh,
now.
sorry, I didn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, if I felt that level of pain, believe me, I would have been whining, and I would have made the world serve me instead of running like I was and doing life like I was. But the excuse is that I was really heavily lubricating this gently aging body with this every day, every day. And I never in my life was an oil taker. So to add just an organic oil to my system, a teaspoon or tablespoon every day, has made a huge difference, needless to say, in probably all my joints and muscles and everything that could be affected by organic MCT oil from coconuts. Not palm, but really good MCT coconut and extra virgin olive oil, really good organic from the same farm on a regular basis to the best of our ability. So we're not buying pallets at Costco like a lot of companies might. We buy really good, high quality. And so if you're taking a good natural organic oil into your body that is going to, number one, help your entire that long thing called intestines. And for me, because I was dealing with uranium poisoning detox, I had a
Just your
lot,
regular thing, right? Who
just
hasn't?
a regular thing, just a regular Joe put it in my garage because he thought, yeah, she deserves it for whatever reason I'm scared of. Anyway, there it was, a month in my garage. I had no idea. I lost 25 pounds and I was really kind of in shock, not having any idea. And then when I went to move my life to a new place, I found it in the garage hiding behind a paint can. And it was like, wow, that's why I feel like crap. So I have really been tested more than the average person, but I was taking this every day, the olive oil. And the olive oil's twice as strong because it will hold twice as much of the ESS60 molecule as this, no matter how much we put in these beautiful stainless steel turning vats that keep going for 3 weeks. There's a maximum concentration level that each oil will hold. And after 33 years, my partners are masters of maximizing the full potential of this ESS60 miracle molecule in the formulas. We're the only lab, I'm pretty sure, well, I know we are, that's been around for decades doing the same thing and selling to research institutions around the world. But my partners were focused on industrial grade for ink, batteries, photocells, tires, because that was the industry of this molecule when it won the Nobel Prize in the 90s. And when they tested it for toxicity, because people started thinking, wonder what it could do for me around 2012, not only did it get the best longevity results in history on lab animals, which is a huge statement, 90% longer life when the next best is 12%.
That's so incredible. And the thing is, to this day, we've talked about this before. There's no one who came and disputed that. I've read the study, by the way, but you know how it is. People like to dispute stuff like that. There is no one. There's no one coming out. It's incredible. 90%. You got to think about it. I mean, incredible.
Right? The other thing is, you hear a lot of people claim those results, but they actually only came from one lab, our lab in Houston, Texas. And Chris looks like he could get carded tomorrow, but he did it 33 years ago, where he and Robert in college actually recreated the original reactor, huge machine that burns this material at the heat of the sun in a huge metal inert reactor that not very many people could design. But here's this kid, Chris and Robert, and they're still using it today because they came up with the best possible way to make this miracle molecule that won the Nobel Prize in the 90s, when Nobel Prize meant something. We know the difference now. But it was back then, it had a lot of integrity, but it was winning for industrial purposes. So when they realized that not only was it not toxic, but it helped lab rats live 90% longer. The other part that Chris doesn't mention, we have to be mindful because of the organizations that don't want us healing things, or making statements that we can't back up, is what I mean to say.
Of course. What
That
else?
they died without tumors. These lab rats died without tumors, which is historic. And typically, when their life length expands, the tumors get bigger, and they died without any. So for me, that's really important as a human, because I'm watching all these people with tumors and this and that. And my friends just call me, oh my God, we've got COVID. Do you have any, And so I was like, stocked them up with some Evo because I had some samples and I love these people. Day and a half later, they're like, wow, I feel so much better. So it really does, to me, constantly prove, because I don't get sick, period, that it's been proven to be 172 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant. And then in another test, less results, only 125.
Well, but hold on. You're just throwing these numbers. 90% longer. 100. Okay, let's stick with the low number. 125 times.
More powerful than
Let's just
vitamin C.
so this is incredible.
Yeah.
This is incredible. And because you said, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Chris, there's a burning question, and it's my experience. So like many of us, we try to get the nutrients and everything we need for our body to function optimally. And so we try a lot of stuff, right? I mean, especially during these times, what I've noticed is that since taking ESS60, and I'm very intuitive with that too, right? So I just noticed that I don't pick up certain bottles anymore and don't take stuff out of it. What in your experience, what all does it replace? Because I just feel less need to take certain things than I used to.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. We get a lot of people reporting, and I know Patty talks about it. Like she's got day after day of vitamins, and then she's like every fifth day she'll take them. And I think there is something to the intuitive process of, you know what, I'm just not reaching for that anymore. And the reality is people, I think, are disappointed with supplements in general, right? Like you take a vitamin C and you still get a cold, right? You take a vitamin D, E, A, K, like there's all these vitamins that were reported to be deficient in. Maybe it's B's, and you don't really know anything. B's get more in line with like, hey, if you're on a B vitamin, it's been prescribed for you, and you notice the difference, great. Like you're naturally going to keep taking those. But the other ones that you're taking and you just don't really notice anything, yeah, you're kind of intuitively going, okay, I know what I feel on this. On C60 Evo, I never really felt those things there. And remember, I mean, we really do get as much of this ESS60 molecule as we can into the olive oil, into the olive oil and the avocado oil and the MCT oil, which turns out just not to be that much. It's not that soluble. It's not like you can do a 1-to-1 ratio with, a cup of sugar and a cup of water to make, a hummingbird food or, simple syrup for drinking. It not that much dissolves in it. And so we're getting absolutely as much as we get to dissolve in it, but it's still, a lot of it is olive oil, which is an absolutely amazing olive oil for you. There's a guy out there, he's I think a 4-time New York Times best-selling author, Dr. Stephen Gundry, and I love what he says. He says, the purpose of food is to get more olive oil into your mouth, right? So you're taking this amazing oil to begin with, which has vitamins and nutrients in it, and then you're adding the ESS60 molecule on top of it. And so, yeah, I think your intuition is just telling you something. And I always say, even in a space where people might not be delivering that much value, I'm like, listen, if you're taking that product and it's delivering value to you, keep taking it, but make sure you understand what's actually delivering the value, because it might not be what you think it is.
I couldn't agree more. Plus, it sort of, for me, it also puts into perspective quality and cost, right? Because what that which is of high quality costs more to produce, and naturally the cost of it is higher. But you got to put it in perspective, right? Are you going to have a cabinet full of mediocre stuff that you just throw in your body and you really don't have any effect? Or are you going to have a few products that truly support your system amazingly? Like that's where I'm at, right? So and 80% of the space is saturated with bullshit. That's me talking. It's worthless stuff. So I really appreciate the stuff that is good, of high quality and integrity, and that's what I found with C60 Evo. It's just it works on all the humans in the family, and it works on all the animals in the family. So we're happy with that. Very appreciative. Miss Patty, for those who want to jump and say, okay, I've heard this a few times now, I've heard it from other sources, it's time for me to give this a try. How can they do it, and what is there to try for them?
Our number one product that we recommend, because it sells the most, is called the Inside and Out Set, because you get the most benefit by putting it on your face and by taking a teaspoon in the morning of the strong stuff, the olive oil with the advanced facial serum. This is probably what I'd recommend to anybody as a starter, or just the olive oil. Now, the MCT coconut, I love it in my morning coffee, and it holds half the amount of ESS60 that the olive oil does. For me, I just put twice as much. I do a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon. And this is all I usually take most days. But the olive oil, when we do a show, if we all do a shot in the beginning and we say cheers, I find that we are all just a little tweaked with more consciousness, more mental focus, more awakeness. And it doesn't take but a minute to realize, if you're conscious of your body, wow, I just took this and I already feel it. So I call this the really strong stuff. And if anybody wants to try just a 4-ounce bottle as a beginner, and if you don't have a lot of income, you sign up for a monthly subscription and you'll save 20%. You can cancel at any time. Our customer service are really nice people and they won't even ask. Just take the discount and give it a try. And within a week, you'll know if it's worth the price of one or two of your supplements that you really don't notice, because I run a pendulum over everything. And there's times when my body resonates with certain things and when it doesn't, but it always says yes on Evo, because the body is carbon. We are carbon based no matter what they want to say. And this
Wait,
is,
we're not silicon robots?
well, some of them are, but we're not, the three of us. And also I look at the quality of the people that take it. For me, it's like, wow, I really love the people that are taking the product. My mom, 95, still reads a book, takes her 3 days to read a few hundred pages. I'm like, do you even remember what the story was? And she just looks at me like, that was a dumb question. I was like, sorry. She's 95. So she can't exactly run anymore because she's had whatever, that they give to old people repeatedly. And she says yes, because she is that way, like a lot of old people that want to trust the medical situation. But her brain on the Evo, her skin is just gorgeous. And I love it. She said, oh, I'm out of the face stuff. Send some. I'm like, oh, do you know how happy that makes me? 95, does it every day, does the MCT in her morning tea. And she's sharp as a tack compared to everybody else that's her neighbors. And it makes me really proud. My younger daughter also does it. So I've got 3 generations of my family committed to the Evo. All their pets have the Evo for dogs. My other daughter has Evo for cats. So we believe in it because it works. And I have seen us wean away from a lot of things we used to do and have faith in. But again, I want to go back to your earlier show, Today of All Days, where you really brought it home, which is, we are a work of art in ourselves. It's only up to us what we put in, how we treat ourselves, how well we sleep, how well we choose not to have stress, but how we choose carefully the food, the water, the Evo. For me, it's like I really haven't even been good with those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday pills. I don't remember last time I took my handful, because they don't really matter. This does. And when those surgeons looked at me and said, nobody can humanly go bone on bone like this for 2 years, we see your x-rays. And I'm like, yeah, well, maybe more people should be doing this. So people with joint muscle, bone on bone, broken bones coming back, I can't recommend this enough. People who are losing their marbles by watching the news on TV or whatever, hopefully more of them are watching conscious news like your programs, because we have to look at what's happening and then we have to choose a higher path of how to deal with it. And
Amen.
I'm amazed at the phone calls I get that they just don't move me. It's like I'm seeing them throw the fish hook out, and try and reel me into, have a reaction of negativity. And I'm like, no, I have total faith in the evolution of this process. And I think that people like us, getting people healthy and clear-minded around the world daily, I think that Chris and I and Robert are doing our job to the best of our abilities, because we ship everywhere. and we don't let people down. And they've been at it so long that when I said, okay, I've got another idea, first the guys were like, what do you mean face serum? And then they created yet another face serum with peptides that's equally fabulous. So we've got an amazing product line. I don't want to overwhelm your viewers, but I do have to admit that just this week, we are putting out our brand new product, which is the C60 Evo Rich Body Cream with tangerine and orange and ESS60, which is the miracle molecule that we make in the lab because we can't get enough in outer space to supply the world. But Chris has described beautifully that this really is the next best because they have recreated the process of manufacturing this molecule at the heat of the sun. It's not just a simple process.
Doesn't sound simple.
No, I can't even tell you how wonderful I smell right now.
I feel like I'm getting I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting a scent here. Like it's almost I can get a whiff here of it.
Oh, tangerine orange. It is so lovely. And it took us a while to put it out. I was hoping to get it out for Christmas. That's how long.
I was just gonna say tangerine orangey. It sounds to me like hope for a little bit of colder weather. We're extremely hot here. I know you're in Texas, right, Chris?
Yep.
And you are in Colorado, right?
Mhm.
So for you, it never gets that crazy hot, right?
Oh no, we've had some crazy hot, but we just have so much weather modification. What we have here is the city council that was just voted in our Monsanto, basically. We just
Oh,
voted
wait, you are
Monsanto.
in Boulder area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy stuff.
if I showed you the voting tally, they actually said 100% of the votes went to both these people. I took a screenshot, 100%. Well, what about my vote? I didn't vote for them, but 100%. So Monsanto won, and they're going to be delivering their Rejuvra, which is Roundup with the new name, by drone and helicopter to all the local areas along the Colorado Front Range. So all I can say on that note is get the big bottle, size of my head, the 32-ounce bottle. I mean, we're going to need
And shield up.
and shield up. We need to protect ourselves in advance and after the fact because number one, your brain really matters, and this stuff rocks. Nobody can make me mad. Believe me, they tried recently, and I'm just like, yeah, not playing.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Not today, Satan. Not today. But I do count on the Evo, and I don't count on anything else. And I realize, wow, even my bathroom, I just have our facial products and our lip balms. Like I don't even have other things because these are natural. They work. My skin is healing. And so, when you know that you're doing it right and you're doing the best you can, that's the best we can do. And I think that was pretty much your statement. That's all we can do is the best we can and to get on our path and be doing it. So,
I couldn't agree more. It's do what you can with what you have where you are. That's my favorite excuse killer. And I think that's what basically, Chris, if I understand it right, that's what got you and your partner Robert and Patty to this point, doing what you can with what you have where you are. One of the things I have to report back to you, and I have been, but I see the difference so significantly, most of all in our 14-year-old golden retriever. And I know there's a lot of animal lovers out there. I know your animals are your family. They're certainly ours. And so 14-year-old golden retriever, as you can imagine, arthritis and some of the other old age problems that are kind of very typical for that breed, even though he's from a great background. But when either we forget for some reason or we just run out for 1 or 2 days before we get our delivery, the difference is significant. I can tell by the way he moves, but I can tell by the way he walks. When he gets his after that break, whatever causes it, when he gets his 2-3 days, but first day I notice it, but 2-3 days in, it's incredible. The difference is like he's like not a new dog, of course, but just visibly in better shape, more comfortable, more alert, sleeps better. I mean, it's just that to me is such a great gift. It's such a great gift because you don't want to ever see your furry family suffer. So I want to thank you for that. That's really incredible. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. One of the okay, what a joyful job Patty and I have, right? We go out, and as the geeky scientist, I get to share some research that I was involved in way back when. Well, really since for the last 33 years. So I get to present that research and then hear the testimonials that are coming in from people like yours. And one of the things about is particularly special about your testimonial is with pets, there is no placebo effect, right? Like, ironically, we're smart enough to have the placebo effect. Pets aren't smart enough to go like, oh, I got my dropper today, so I'm going to be more vibrant. I'm going to be healthier. You're going to notice how I move better. You're going to notice how I sleep better. No, they just act the way they feel, and they seem to feel amazing on the product.
They do. There's no doubt about it. I mean, to the point where a year ago, pretty much, because we have intense summers, they're very hot, and Goldens just aren't too keen on the heat, especially in old age. So a year ago, we weren't so sure how things were going to go, and it's been a pretty good year. So thank you for that. And it's he's still in good shape, has his better and worse days, but overall an incredible improvement. And so it makes his golden years a little more comfortable and pleasant, and I mean, that's priceless to us. That's worth every penny. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that's
We
awesome.
really appreciate it. And Inspire Tribe, I just encourage you to hop over to c60evo.com/inspired channel, where you can discover all the beautiful discounts that these folks are giving our audience, which we appreciate. We know times are tough. We know the economic instability, and so that helps a lot. Thank you both so much for making this possible for our audience.
Thank you for
Well,
allowing us to share it.
yep. Your people are so evolved, and I think that they're going to notice feeling better, their pets feeling better, whatever products they choose. But it's nice when you can do something and actually see the difference, feel the difference, which not a lot of products deliver. So we're proud of what we're doing, and here comes one more new one. But the reason is there's nothing it doesn't seem to fix.
Which, of course, is only a rumor,
Yeah.
and we're not
Not a
giving any
claim.
medical advice, but go give it a try, folks.
The FDA has not evaluated that statement, and our product is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Well,
It's
if
just
the
a
FDA
coincidence.
hasn't evaluated it, that's just a compliment to you.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So we call it a coincidence that all
Yeah.
these amazing results are happening. For me, because I'm a walking testimonial, getting through 2 hip replacements this year and going dancing the other night, I didn't even notice.
That's a win.
I don't even remember the surgeries right now. I mean, it's like I went that long, but it didn't bother me that much. So I'm encouraging everyone in pain, old, medium, young. Yeah, give it a go. Not too young. We go 16 and higher is what we recommend. We haven't tested pregnant or nursing moms, so we don't recommend that. But short of that, man, everybody around the world is going, yeah. So
Fantastic.
thank you.
Thank you both so much, Miss Patty Greer, Chris Burris from C60 Evo. Hop over, my friend, c60evo.com/inspired channel. Look around, shop around. It's always an honor to have you both on. Thank you so much for taking the time again today.
Thank you, John.
And Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. You know we love you. We appreciate you, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.